Hello my fellow gamers and welcome once again to Perafilozof City Skylines videos. I'm going to continue building up the city in which I plan to reach 1 million population on the hard mode. I am almost up to 100,000. I am currently at over 90,000. I don't have that much residential demand because I already have so much zoned that is just waiting to go up. So once these zones are filled, then I might be getting more residential demand. I, for some reason, always forget to use Q and E to rotate the camera and use my middle mouse button, which kinda comes into the recordings and probably annoys you when you keep hearing my mouse click when I'm trying to use this command to rotate the camera. So I will try to use those buttons on the keyboard far more and less use the mouse, which probably, like I said, annoys you in the recordings. Anyway, in here I had reached the level of offices, which means after that I am to use more residential areas. I was thinking about what kind of cross street do I place here? Do I place a two-lane street, or do I continue using the highway ramps? That depends on just how much do these zones get redone after street. You'll see what I mean in a moment. If I take this street, there's already a hole here. There's no zoning in this place. So if I were to, let's say, place a cross street here, now there's a hole here and these zones look okay. Let's see if I continue. The zones still seem to be looking okay. I think there is 4 here, but you can see it's kind of uneven, and that is already creating some problems. I will try go down one more square, so that would be like this. Let's see how with zone like with that. Still pretty bad, but I do need one cross street to be a two-lane street, because the traffic needs to have better flow and the bus stops can fit on these stops as well. So the residential zone will be the one that ends up with this kind of hard to zone area this time around. In here they have yet to raise up, while in the old parts of the city there is still a more zonable area that has yet to go up as residential. So that may take a while unless I try to get even more jobs available. At the moment I'm already behind around 2,000 jobs, actually almost 3,000 jobs behind on how many are filled. The industry might start giving me trouble. This one here seems to have only its workers. It is even having workers that are overeducated for the second level, while the industry up here for some reason just refuses to level up. But I think it's mostly that it does not actually have the workers in the buildings, and that is why it can't level up, because the industry will only level up if the workers it has are overeducated for the level 1, and if there are 0 out of 16 workers, then it cannot possibly level up. I don't know, did you just see this one? I think leveled up, and this one is at level 3. It has 31 out of 32 workers, so it easily went up to level 3, and even at level 3 I have overeducated workers. So I definitely have very good education coverage for my industry, just need to get more workers there. I might not have the best amount of high schools to cover all the eligible sims, but I have more than enough when it comes to the university and just enough when it comes to the elementary schools. If I'm going to expand with more residential down here, I will need an elementary school here as well. Now I've been also looking at how am I going to connect this part of the city with the city over here. It should go below these highways, and I already stretched a few of these streets. Later on I will stretch more when I plan to actually fill up this part of the city. For now I'm still at 90,000, almost up to 91,000. I really need to start playing on a higher speed, because I know that it's taking me like 35 videos to get to just 90,000. Of course, that's partially because of the way I play. I don't like to continue until I'm sure that the previously made part of the city is properly operational, and that's just something that is my gameplay style. And if you guys have a problem with that, uh, I just don't know what to tell you. You know from my previous videos, if you're a long time subscriber, how I played the game, which I won't name, but which you know which I mean. And all my gameplay is like that, thoughtfully making, planning, and then when I finish, I know that I made something that is properly made. Let's see, how is the industry. Still not enough workers, as they haven't received more workers. The ones here have filled up these homes as far as they could. I guess I'll try and get more high density here, and hopefully they will manage to raise up in these areas. Let's see. Alright, and here's the first building already going up. I hope that I'm going to get a few more soon, because this industry will simply not build up until it receives more workers. They just have to be educated and start working here, and the industry will level up. Oh good, here we go, already 3 buildings. Here's a 4th. Excellent, so this is going up nicely. As for the areas down here, I had started switching the leftmost residential zones for offices, and then after that more commercial, as I continuously have a medium demand for commercial areas. I mean, I know that I do not have that much commercial zoned in these areas, and there is a lot of residential, so it's kind of expected that I would have a lot of demand, but I just never thought I could have this much commercial demand. I know it's going to be annoying that I have to bulldoze these high density buildings here in order to place offices, but it's just something that I will simply have to do if I want to keep the noise pollution away from the residential areas. And the noise pollution created by the high density commercial areas is kind of huge, so that is why I have to place a zone that will dampen that noise pollution, and those zones are the offices. Now the offices do receive, let's call it a debuff, when they are trying to level up from the noise pollution, but that will just prevent them from leveling up. It's not like in the residential areas, where the residential areas will actually get abandoned if there is too much noise pollution. So it's kind of easier to have the offices suffer the noise pollution from the commercial areas than to have the residential zones suffer that noise pollution, and there is already a lot in here. One thing that I haven't done is to upgrade the streets from the normal streets to trees on these 2-lane two-ways, so that will reduce some of the pollution in sound pollution in this area of the city. Alright, so now that this is done, I should get more high density here instead of the low density residential areas. And I can go back and see what's going on in the newest parts of the city. The buildings have already managed to build up, which is excellent news. There's some industry which is still abandoned. That is not the best news. But if these residential areas have managed to go up, then I might as well build some new ones here. Here I need to make a new district for the high density commercial and the offices, and also a new district for the new area of residential. The residential buildings seem to be popping up fairly quickly now. It seems that with a huge amount of jobs available, they do wish to start living here pretty quickly. Let's see, for the policies, here would be pet ban, recycling, parks and recreation, and for the offices and high density commercial, it would be big business benefactor. The industry area, I have already used the smoke detector distribution. Now as this builds up, I do need to expand both my coverage from the parks that will require a park here. And 2 more parks on the edges. And I also need to expand my bus routes to cover this new area of the city. I should also get a new connection with this part of the city, because now I have these streets that are connected with this part, so I might as well get a new bus line that would go from here and connect into this part of the city with the bus lines already existing here. Let's just see, how do we get this to work? I guess we can start going through from the right side, looking from here. Let's say we start from this metro stop and go here, then go through every second block on the right side going up. And then when I'm done with this part, I go through the connecting street to go up into this area of the city. And here I just have to connect a few of the bus stops, go over to the other side, and then I can come back here and close the loop. Now that this is made, I just have to recolor it so that I know that this is a bus line that is connecting these two parts of the city. Let's say I use a yellow color. Now that that's connected, a metro stop is already all the way down here. I do not need to add any more metro stops. The number of jobs have risen to 50,300, so I'm missing around 5,000 workers. That is definitely why I now constantly have a demand for residential zones. Now the question is, do I add more residential zones right here, or do I try to expand over here where I already took up so much more space than I might thought I should in the previous episodes, where I doubled the amount of, for example, here offices. But when I look at the city, there are a few places that still require workers in this part, while the most of the worker shortage is up here. So I should probably just keep building more residential areas in here. For that, I need to expand these streets down like this. I also need to add an elementary school here if I am going to have so much more residential here. I believe that I'm still covered by healthcare and death care here. As for the police and fire safety, also very much covered. So all I need is just more residential. Now for some reason I seem to have lost about 500 or so population. This is partially due to the population I kicked out of these homes here when I switched from low density to high density. But considering that this area is already filled with high density buildings, my population should be going up. But alright, I can see now these buildings haven't yet been filled to as much capacity for households as they can receive, so that is why the population number is a bit lower than it used to be, but soon it should definitely go up once again. Let's add here some more residential, high density residential. And as for up here, I can see that the third part of residential is already up and running. Over here, these zones look to be satisfied when it comes to workers. A few here have a problem, but I can't really add any more up here. and this zone, as it is now filled with 3 lines of residential zones, I don't think I will be adding any more. I will just wait for them to fill up these households to their maximum capacity, or should I say the maximum capacity that they want to fill up, because as you know, these residents stay at about 70 to 80% filled and never fill up to 100%. It is simply, it seems, how the game was envisioned to be. Now, as I have finished making the residential zones, I can add more offices here. 4x4 as always, to prevent the pollution, the sound pollution, from seeping into the residential area from the next area, which is going to be made up of high density commercial. I need to continue building down here, so more roads. I haven't checked out the imports and exports in a while. I am now importing around 4,300 and exporting around 5,800. I think I had managed to balance out a little bit of the import and export after taking out this area here and making a double line of commercial areas instead of that triple line of industries. But I continuously am short on workers. Now I could probably switch up some of the previously doubled zones, for example here where I have so much office area, I will turn it back into residential. Hopefully this will all get filled up pretty soon and the balance will be a little bit better. Over here I could also get rid of these high density commercials, but as my commercial demand is always high, I would rather not be destroying any commercial buildings. As for the offices, I'm okay with tearing down a few lines of offices to get more residential areas, for example, in here. So that should help balance out these neighborhoods with more workers. Let's just see the area over here that I just switched over. Where is it? Here it is. Alright, and that is residential as well. Down here I can expand the residential area to this line because these are homes as well, and then make a new district for the offices and commercial. Big business benefactor as the police, and they're already all up. Excellent. If I look at my old part of the city, I am still not satisfied as to how I built it and zoned it, especially the parts of the residential that are close to the highway. Now I could do the same thing I have done here to this part area up here, but that would require dezoning a lot of residential, reducing the amount of population, then redoing some of the zones for commercial and offices. It's something that I would rather do at the end of the city and not right now when I've dabbled with this part of the city for so much. And I already told you in the previous videos, I'm trying to reduce the amount of tweaking that I am doing to this old part of the city and just try and concentrate on the new. I will keep switching the forestry industry for the generic, but one thing that I've noticed is that I'm starting to import forestry goods even though I'm already exporting them. Now I cannot seem to even locate where I'm exporting it from because none of these buildings are green, but I am importing forestry goods. You can see that some of the generic buildings are green, so I've been thinking of just leaving some of the forestry industry zoned as forestry and the district being for forestry industry, because then I would reduce the amount of imports coming in from the region for forestry goods. So that is one of the reasons that I think of leaving that there, and also I do not have a 100% educated population. Some of them are uneducated, so it might not be bad to have some forestry industry or even agriculture industry that would use up those uneducated workers. So generally I could have some forestry industry wherever I wish, and it should be filled up with some uneducated workforce. So let's say I try that here. Forestry, and need to add some trees. Now I'm hoping that these buildings will be able to produce some of the forestry goods that I'm importing at the moment, and I could reduce the amount of imports. And because I've mentioned the importing and exporting a few times now, and I haven't really taken a look at how the traffic looks like now, I should see whether or not I have any critical points where the traffic gets stopped. This looks okay. There's a lot of traffic going through this street, while these are not very used. I think it's because they are turning from this spot, going down here, and then going over here. I'm just not sure, is it the traffic from here or is it the inner city traffic? I think it's mostly actually inner city traffic that's doing this. If I were to destroy this ramp, how would they get over here? They would have to cross from here into this one, from this one into this one, from this one into this one, and then go through here and all the way up here. So it may be actually better to have this here. It just seems to have spurts of traffic and then it seems clear, so no need to bulldoze anything. As for the other spots for the traffic, everything seems to be in order. I haven't taken a look at how many people use my public transportation, almost 12,000 people. And how much do I earn from that? I earn 19,000 and my costs are about 21,000. So the public transportation system is almost paying for itself, which is actually excellent news. This industry still does not have workers. I now have 46,000 jobs filled out of 50,400. So I definitely need to be zoning more residential areas after this one here. So a commercial area 4x4 and then some offices 4x4. And I'm thinking another cross street after that would be useful, going in the opposite direction. And from here I can zone at least 2 more areas of residential. Alright, is this covered by water? No, it's not, and I should cover it. And I could also take a look at the amount of water that I have available and the sewage. I think I will need a new water pumping station. It is also probably a good time to check out if my water pollution may be getting close to my water pumping stations, and it kinda is, so it would be a good time to move some of these pumping stations even further away. Alright, that should take care of that. Now let me just see how is it going here. I will bring back some of the forestry industry, like I said, because I'm trying to have the forestry industry build enough goods so that I don't have to import any more forestry into my city from the region. Alright, as for this area here, I think it's finished. There's offices and then the areas that are made out of the high density commercial. Up here, the areas that I have switched up seem to have managed to fill up with high density residential buildings. Yep, everything looks okay here. Over here, I could also get rid of these offices for more residential areas. And the areas over here seem to be alright. I won't be getting rid of the double areas of commercial because there is a huge demand for that always, and I do have a lot of commercial goods to sell that I am currently exporting. Alright, what's going on here? The commercial has managed to fill up the zone, the offices are rising up slowly, and even the residential area is being filled up. I'm guessing I need to now increase the coverage from the bus lines, of course, and I haven't made a new metro stop here, so I should get that as well. I think I can fit it in here. No, that's a bit too close. I guess at the end of the residential zone then. Get at least one line to be connected to this station. I have fallen behind with making the districts. This one needs to be offices and commercial, and this one needs to be residential. How am I with jobs at the moment? 47,000 filled out of 50,800, so I'm desperately needing more workers. I do still have unemployment at 3%, which seems to be something that keeps happening. Not sure which are the unemployed. I would love to know their status as to their education level, so that I would know what exactly am I doing wrong to have 3% unemployment and yet have businesses going abandoned because they do not have workers. Well, in any event, I think this is enough for this video. I seem to be around 90,000 population during the entire video, even though I have zoned so much more residential. I'm not entirely sure what's up with that, but I guess we'll find out together. Thank you for watching, and please stay tuned for more videos.